Sam here. And I have to be honest with you, when I first saw the headline that Christian Horner was sitting down with the CEO of BYD in Cannes, I thought it was a joke. But the more I looked into it, the more I realised this is actually one of the most serious stories in Formula One right now. His non-compete clause expired on May 8th, 2026. He is free, and the latest reports suggest he is not looking to join an existing team. He wants to build a brand new one, backed by one of the biggest car manufacturers in the world, the Chinese electric vehicle giant BYD. This is not just a wild internet rumour. There are actual meetings happening, real money being discussed, and a timeline that could change the entire Formula One grid. But as with everything in Formula One, the truth is a lot more complicated than the headlines suggest. So, let us break down exactly what's going on between Christian Horner and BYD, why this partnership makes sense on paper, and why it could also be a massive trap. First, let us look at the facts. Over the weekend of the Monaco Formula E race, Christian Horner was spotted at a BYD event in Cannes. He was photographed alongside Stella Li, the vice president of BYD, and reportedly met with the company's chief executive, Wang Chuanfu. This was not just a casual meet and greet. Stella Li has already confirmed that BYD is actively discussing the possibility of joining the Formula One grid. She even admitted to holding meetings with Formula One Group CEO Stefano Domenicali in Shanghai back in March. BYD is not a small player. In fact, they are an absolute powerhouse. They recently overtook Tesla in all-electric vehicle sales for 2025, delivering over 2.25 million battery electric vehicles compared to Tesla's 1.63 million. Their overseas sales surpassed 1 million units for the first time last year, which is a massive 150% increase. They generated over $100 billion in revenue. They have the money, they have the technology, and they are desperate to build their brand recognition outside of China. While they sell millions of cars, their brand perception in Western markets still lags behind the product reality. Formula One is the ultimate global marketing platform, and BYD wants in to prove they are a premium, trustworthy brand. And then you have Christian Horner. He spent 20 years building Red Bull Racing from a midfield joke into one of the most dominant forces in Formula One history. He knows exactly what it takes to build a winning team from the ground up. He has the connections, the experience, and the drive to prove that Red Bull made a massive mistake by letting him go. If BYD wants to enter Formula One, they need someone who knows how to navigate the shark-infested waters of the paddock. Horner is the perfect candidate. But here is where the reality check comes in. Building a 12th Formula One team from absolute scratch under the punishing 2026 regulations is a nightmare. It is not just about having the money. It is about the time, the infrastructure, and the massive barriers to entry that Formula One has put in place. Transforming an automotive manufacturer with zero Formula One experience into a title contender requires years of painful, back-of-the-grid suffering. Even with Horner's expertise, you cannot just buy success overnight in modern Formula One. Let us talk about the cost. Creating and fielding a Formula One team from the ground up costs an estimated $500 million per season. And that is just the operational cost. To even get on the grid, a new team has to pay a massive anti-dilution fee to the existing teams. When Cadillac secured their entry as the 11th team for the 2026 season, they had to pay a staggering $450 million fee. That means BYD would have to drop nearly $1 billion before their car even turns a wheel in anger. And even if they have the money, there is the timeline. Cadillac started their process years ago, and they are still facing a massive uphill battle to be competitive in 2026. If BYD and Horner start now, they are looking at 2027 or even 2028 before they could realistically enter the sport. That is a long time for Horner to sit on the sidelines, especially when he is known for his impatience and desire to win immediately. He wants to be back in the paddock, calling the shots and fighting for victories, not sitting in endless board meetings planning for a debut 3 years down the line. This brings us to the Ron Dennis warning. Formula One history is full of exiled team bosses who let their egos drive a disastrous second act. Back in 2014, Ron Dennis orchestrated a boardroom coup to take back control of McLaren. He promised sweeping changes and a return to winning ways. Instead, he failed to deliver results, alienated sponsors, and tried to secure a massive takeover bid from Chinese investors to consolidate his power. The board revolted, placed him on gardening leave, and forced him out of the company he spent 35 years building. If Horner aligns himself with BYD to build a 12th team, he is trading the best seat in motorsport for a massive gamble, fueled entirely by a desire for vengeance. Trying to build a Red Bull killer from the ground up will likely only destroy his hard-earned legacy. Formula One is a ruthless environment, and as Ron Dennis learned the hard way, you can never go home again. So what is the alternative? If building a 12th team is too difficult, the other option is to buy an existing team. And this is where the Alpine rumours come back into play. We already know that an investment group, including Horner, expressed interest in buying the 24% stake in Alpine owned by Otro Capital. Alpine is an established team with infrastructure, staff, and a spot on the grid. They are also struggling massively, which makes them a prime target for a takeover. Bloomberg recently reported that BYD's preferred route would actually be acquiring an existing racing team rather than building one from scratch. If BYD and Horner team up to buy Alpine, it solves almost all of their problems. BYD gets instant access to Formula One without the $450 million anti-dilution fee. Horner gets a team he can rebuild in his own image. And Alpine gets the massive financial backing they desperately need. But even this route has obstacles. Luca De Meo has publicly insisted the team is not for sale, reportedly rejecting a $1.2 billion bid without consideration. And then there is Mercedes. Toto Wolff is also interested in acquiring the Otro Capital stake in Alpine, which sets up a massive off-track battle between Horner and his old rival. There is also the question of the engine regulations. The 2026 Formula One season introduced sweeping new power unit regulations that significantly increase the electrical component of the hybrid drivetrain. Roughly 50% of the power unit's output now comes from the electric motor. For a company like BYD, which builds its own batteries, motors, and power electronics in-house, this makes Formula One research and development highly relevant to their core business. But building a Formula One engine is incredibly complex. Even established manufacturers like Audi are struggling to get their 2026 power units ready. If BYD wants to enter as a full works team with their own engine, they are years behind the competition. Developing an MG UK and a combustion engine that can compete with Mercedes and Ferrari takes years of testing and refinement. If they enter as a sponsor or partner, they lose some of the marketing value they are looking for. They want to show off their own technology, not just put a sticker on someone else's engine. And let us not forget the FIA. President Mohammed bin Sulayem has been vocal about welcoming a Chinese manufacturer to Formula One. He recently said that if the right team applies, the FIA and FOM would not stand in its way. He specifically mentioned that a team from China would add value and sustain the business of Formula One. Bin Sulayem also confirmed he is in regular contact with Horner, saying that because of his success, people will come to him with opportunities. So the door is open. The money is there. The motivation is clear. But the execution is where this entire plan could fall apart. Christian Horner is a winner. He does not want to spend the next 5 years fighting at the back of the grid with a startup team. He wants to be fighting for podiums and championships. BYD wants to show the world that their technology is the best, not that they can finish 18th on a Sunday afternoon. The talks in Cannes prove that this is a serious possibility. BYD is evaluating their options, and Horner is clearly positioning himself as the man to lead their charge. But whether this results in a 12th team on the grid, a massive takeover of Alpine, or just another rumour that fades away, remains to be seen. What we do know is that Christian Horner is not done with Formula One. And with the backing of a $100 billion company like BYD, his return could be the biggest story of the decade. What do you guys think? Should Christian Horner try to build a new team with BYD, or is he better off trying to buy an existing team like Alpine? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to stay up to date on all the latest Formula One news and rumours, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.